Rocking and rolling before the electric guitar. Before that boat that nobody wants to talk about because we were already on a boat. We were visiting, we were traveling, and we were casting nets. So we're still rocking and rolling. When I spoke with Coleman about his album and future albums and portfolio, even then I was jazzed because I knew about this access that I had. My music was being played in penitentiaries. That's an exciting thing. And knowing this, I wanted to have other people have that chance to be able to do the same thing. You see, I don't just send my music to the board that approves streaming music. It doesn't work that way. There's a company that represents me, and they send tracks that they find are like that. There's my man, Critical Shalom Apparat. I hope your ears have been burning because we've been talking about you for about an hour, man. Yeah, today was ColeB4Diamond Productions and the interdependent relationship with HHStudio. It ain't over. We just at the halfway mark. Matter of fact, we just got YouTube to start back up because it had fallen. It was on me. The charge had gone out of the tablet. I had to get it restarted, and we got the family together. So I want to share something with you all. Mentioned before, there's 10 special interest groups that are going to be the mainline subject. I'm gonna give this a second to get it all out. There's no telling what was running through my mind the day I made that song. It sounds like I was doing some Ice Cream Man nostalgia. I never was the one that was actually chasing down the Ice Cream Man. Ice Cream Man! And then we had ice cream sandwiches and push-ups and popsicles in the freezer. You know, I've heard the lecture 80 million times. Why would I buy from the Ice Cream Man when I got a whole box of so and so for that same price? So no, I wasn't chasing the ice cream man, but apparently that drum kit made me feel a certain kind of way. Uh, I spent about 3 or 4 years waking up every day and I would look at a brand new drum kit, and I'm not talking about, I'm talking about an electronic drum pad that you can use on your phone or on a tablet, right? Or a touch screen, basically. And it has a grid of 12 buttons, three across, four down. And each of those buttons has an assigned sound. So now it's up to you to tap out what you want the melody to be, what you want the cadence of the rhythm and so on. You get to do that. So I spent 3 or 4 years every day waking up and I, have my ear out for whatever the social issues were. Before I ran across call it Kofi, there were some brothers in New York that I would tune into. Standing on the corner of 125th or 145th, and they're letting you know about yourself from what they learned, and they're gonna tell you about yourself. Well, it was all right, but not quite following what I've learned and what I practice. So it wasn't that I was dissatisfied. I was curious. I want to know what people are saying, how they do their customs, what do they practice, so I can determine if it's familiar or if it's foreign. Because if it's alien, it lets me know I'm outside of that. I'm not used to that. Some of it looks all right, but no, I can't have some of it. It has to be the sum of all parts, not just some parts of it. I need all of it. I got spoiled as a child. because you could either go to the Chinese food place and get some Chinese food, or if you wait on a certain day, we can go to the buffet. So you telling me I can sit down and have this one particular dish that I have to choose from off the menu, or I can go over here, probably go up about two, three times a different place and get two, three different things each time. Guess who learned patience? Shoot, I'll wait. I will wait for the buffet. Yeah, I like fried rice, but no, I'm gonna wait for the buffet. You know, I want it all. Give all of it to me. The sum of all parts. You see, the day that I was scrolling on YouTube and uploading a video, and I came across Brother Coleman's instrumental, and the challenge was there saying if you can flow, and I accepted the challenge. Something spontaneous happened, what people call kismet. And no, we didn't kiss when we met. It means that it was supposed to happen. And when we met each other, the cosmos aligned because we were speaking homologio. We were speaking the same logic. Live will is trying to tell me that I've been inactive. Well, that's not true. How dare you, TikTok? Picture pages, picture pages. Who likes jigsaws? So here we go. Sorry about that. The sum of all parts. If my brother can make that kind of music and it inspired me in that one moment to share something that I had written years before and was wanting a track to be able to record on. And here he comes out of nowhere. Excuse me. Yeah, Kismet. We were supposed to meet in order for the cosmic Bluetooth download to happen because we came from different regions of the same country. Matter of fact, we did one of these. We probably crossed paths a few times without ever meeting each other. The music that we liked, the artists that we paid attention to, the ideas that we respected. We didn't go to the same school, and the things that we learned didn't come from school. You see, like I said earlier in the session with Brother Matt Trucker, he was speaking some great words. His question was, and I love the question too, which sinner are you calling to repent? And his answer, and the person who came in as a guest, and even my own answer, I didn't say it, but yeah, even my own answer. I'm not going to point my finger and judge you until I've really looked at myself. I can't tell you that you're wrong unless I know that I'm righteous or I've actually made that move myself and I know that it's wrong. I've experienced it or I've seen it. But most important, I've been there because just seeing it, you might not catch anything out of that. You might not have any feelings to that. You might not have an attachment because you saw something. People tell you what they saw all the time, people tell you what they heard all the time. Now, let somebody tell you what they experienced. You're going to get a whole different tone in their voice, what is actually passed to you, instead of just, well, yeah, blah, blah, blah happened. I went down the street. I want it all, the sum of all parts. I want the mind and the body and the soul behind product. So, yeah, meeting Brother Cole studios. So there were things he could tell me where I was over here doing the shortcut genius method. This man actually knew how to work machinery. That's what I needed because I've been running the shortcut genius method the whole time. Let me try this over here, and I'm gonna go ahead and use it, and I'll save that. Let me go over here, and I'm gonna try this. You ever have an auntie to tell you, "Hey, boy, why don't you get over somewhere and sit down? Go somewhere and sit down." Leo VR. Hey, yo. Pardon me for just a moment. Tis the season. My favorite season of the year happens to also be the season that beats me up. Well, spring beats me up every time. Whew. So, sum of all parts. Why do I keep saying that? Because there's 10 special interest groups. So far, we've heard about 3 of them. HHStudio, SOC, Servants of Christ. And now we've gone through and we've covered a certain producer named Coleman. But we're going to talk about his enterprise, which is ColeB4Diamond Productions. Do you all know the first time I saw the name, it wasn't just the instrumental that I was hearing, it was the name behind it. ColeB4Diamond. That hits hard. That is a pun. Because you have to have that coal, you have to have that carbon, and then it gets crushed under pressure and heat, and then it turns into something that's the most valuable form of material known to man. Not just because it looks nice on somebody's finger. An industrial diamond cuts through steel, cuts through rock in order for you to melt it down to make some steel. ColeB4Diamond. That's tough right there. Definitely gotta get leagued up with this guy. So I went out and I found Kofi, and now I need to make a partnership with ColeB4Diamond because HHStudio needs that tested, vetted energy. Okay, you got that? So I got this handy dandy list in front of me now, and it actually is the bi-weekly schedule of how we're actually gonna do our discussions and everything once this really gets rolling. We still got another week because I want to finish day by day. Each group is going to have its own focus. Just to give you an idea of what the schedule will look like, okay? Monday, we'll speak on HHStudio. Just general, broad basis entrepreneurship. All right. Tuesday, we will talk about Mafia Soy publications. Now, these are not always going to be, well, here, let me tell you about this group, this company, this is their product. No, it's going to be from a perspective because we're still going to be getting to the idea of organic marketing techniques and also how to apply your business or service or whatever you have going to be positive within your community. So with Mafia Soy publications on Tuesday, we would talk about music because that is what that's all about. Mafia Soy publications is uh, what presses out my music, what presses out the artwork. When you're looking at those videos that I'm making, I need you to understand I'm putting together animes. Those are future animes. I'm getting the storylines lined up to where all I have to do is just plug them in place. Those are short films. Every time I'm posting a video, it has a purpose. Even when I'm posting parodies, you see, there's a group called Nam De Hum, and I'm sure you've heard of Nom de Plume. It would be your pen name of pen. Nom de Hum is a collaborative between me and my brother Bart. Bart is a sound engineer that I just spent 2 years with, and he taught me some things that it would have taken me 10 years to discover on my own. I learned a lot. My happy little brain got so smushed up inside of my skull and grew some more. See, I don't think this is hair. No, this is part of my brain. It's growing out of my skull. But yeah, so Nam De Hoon is actually a partnership between Bart and I. On Wednesdays, we'll be discussing visionary topics because we decided we were going to be a curators collective. You see, when you go on Spotify and they tell you here's this playlist with all these different artists that you can listen to, some curator said this is the list that you should listen to, and people pay me to show showcase their work. This is my gallery. Well, I tell you what, I actually don't go on Spotify. Now, the music that I have is on Spotify, and if you chose to go and listen to it, you could any time, any day. I don't have a curator that I pay. I would rather be the curator. And if I'm going to be part of a playlist, I'd rather be some music that not only I listen to, but other people around me would enjoy. You see, when they put me on a playlist, most of the time it is not matched up with artists who do or say like me. I know this because my artist name, one of them, Wired Owl. See, I had a young cousin, and he said, "Man, you one of those Weird Al dudes." See, he sounded like that when he was 5. You one of them Weird Al dudes. Yeah, so I kept that name. I wear it with pride. Except for my name is Wired Owl. And the same antics that Weird Al did, well, I have some of my own on my own thumbprint, right? And then my partner, Bart, would be known as Fox Owl Wisdom. Both of us are musicians, and if you combined our work experience, you're talking 40 or 50 years worth of experience. Because I've been dealing with professional musicians since '99, and him as well. He's been doing that. So 25 and 25 all day, people, come on, that's 50. Because what he was doing was different from what I was doing. That's why we would combine it to show you different aspects. So we could be a curator to show you what you could do with your digital works and everything else. If you want to go on tour, if you want to be the person doing the lights, or if you want to be the person that does sound design, or you want to be the person that works with merchandise, that's just one aspect of it. How about I wanted to develop a business contact site. I'm curator of people who provide services. Oh, I see what you do for a service. How about a 1 minute video? And on top of that, I'm friends with people who make music, so we could do custom videos to fit the sound that you like, and we could do images that represent you and place your work in front of people who are actually looking for you. Oh, that's great, that's great, that's great. But I get that already. They're already saying I could boost my posts whenever I put them up. Yeah, they can boost your posts on every profile and every platform. They can boost your posts. Can they guarantee that you're going to be posted in front of people who actually care, people who are going to come back? Or are they just going to put you in front of some people? Salah. Pardon me. My sinuses are still beating me up. I might step away from the camera in a second. So from here, let's see. Then that would have been Wednesday for Namde Hum Visionary Practices. They tell you to think outside the box. I ask you what box? Visionary Practices. Thursday, SOC. Community Cultivation. Friday, Ground Floor Intellect. Yesterday I was saying intelligence. Ground Floor Intellect. I want you to think about something. Highest heights is a building. And they always tell you when you go and you apply yourself for an occupation, you should always be prepared to come in on the ground floor and start on the ground floor and work your way up. Everybody tells you that, right? Okay, well, here's the thing. When you're dealing with HHStudio, when you walk into the lobby, if you can't deal with the intellect of the people who are already at the ground floor and what we will present to you, it's not about you raising up because we're all on the same level as it is anyway. You want to go on the sky rise and go to the different levels and floors or whatever? Well, there's a story I've already told you about. Me in an elevator with an exec. And we got stuck. And that exec had to listen to me talk for about 5 minutes until the elevator started moving again. When we go up, elevator gets, exec gets to where they want to go and they're ready to get off. And he's asking me, where are you going? Oh, nowhere. I'm about to go back down. I wasn't stuck on the elevator. You were stuck with me. You understand? I'm going out trying to tell the world about these opportunities and about the way we're supposed to be walking on the path. Loudest mouth in Harlem. Yeah, I've actually been in Harlem. Got off the plane, jumped onto a bus, rode across a bridge, hopped off on 125th Street, went down the stairs, looked around, and it said Grand Central Station. So I went one way on the rails and back and got accustomed to the territory. That was about 96, 97, somewhere around there. I'm due to go back. It's been a while. Anyway, you have to be prepared to deal with how other people think, you see. And I like to make what they call memes. I like to make jokes about what's going on in society because sometimes it's just utterly ridiculous. The things that real people do, the ones that call themselves grown and mature, do some of the non-intellectual things you will ever see. And so I like to make jokes when they make this big to do about it in the headlines. Well, I have something else to say about it. And so that even is what happened earlier today. My brother, Mad Trucker, was busy trying to ask people about which center would you say needed, what's the word now? I forgot. Starts with an R. Basically, which center are you going to call out and tell them they need to repent? These folks come in, they want to start trying to tell you about they have renamed a region of the earth because they voted in this guy who thinks he's all powerful and he made a law in a certain territory, which is only a little fraction of land strip that has anything to do with a territory that's pretty much the size of this nation that this incumbent has decided to write a bill and pass it into a law. Sure. So here's the thing. Just as much as that's a law, and so is you can't walk across a bridge and chew gum. How many people actually respect that? I don't know because I keep seeing gum on the sidewalk. I think people are spitting out their gum. They're afraid to break the law. Silly creatures. Shalom, Bruder Yosef. Minister Yosef, be safe in your travels. You and your wife, your family, your circle. Peace be with you. Thank you for spending time. I need to see, where are we anyway? 4:30. So we got about 30 more minutes. Let's see here. Now, on Saturday, real simple. Saturday is Shabbat. I'm not going to be broadcasting. There's too much else going on. I'm in my studies with SOC on Saturday. I'd rather listen to the learned ministers and hear their message. Salute to you, Minister Yasser. Sunday, question and answer period. Anytime. Thank you, like I said, thank you. Yahava, Ahava. Our creator, our guide is love. That's the way that we can define love is love. Because it starts with Yahava. On Monday of that next week, we would talk about teachers of Tanzania. You see, we have to repatriate according to Marcus Garvey and his practices. No matter where we are as diaspora, we have to find a way to repatriate, give back to the source of where we come from, and also maintain where we are. Doesn't mean we all go in one concentration back to that place. We send something to the storehouse. We make it to where, yes, we can come and visit or pick up and move and go there and stay there. Vice versa, have some place here for people to come. That's repatriation. There's a very beautiful queen there, Malikia. She's waiting for me to walk up and tell her it is time for you to be my queen, because I am Maliki. Not only is it my name, but yeah, I'm king too. You see, I'm king, you're queen, and I won't lie to y'all. I was going along doing my business on a site called Moco, posting up stuff. I had just gotten into it, post up pictures and little 15-second song clips and all of that. Woohoo! And I get this direct message sent to me. A person wants to be my friend. Sure. But we've been friends and corresponding and all of that for nearly 15 years. And she has my heart. I hold just enough in my body of my heart in order for the blood to pump. Because she got my heart. So we'll talk about your teachers in Tanzania, which also involves the students, because they have a certain setup for their education system that is not like what we have, neither public nor private sector. Their setup is different, and they have needs. I happen to choose that route. We could talk about neighbors in Nigeria if you want to. What I'm saying is, have some idea of how you want to repatriate. And that would be talking about artisans. We'll talk about artisanship on the second Monday. First Monday, we'll be talking about entrepreneurs. That second Monday, we would be talking about artisans. What can you craft? What can you teach somebody else to craft? That next Tuesday, good food bins. We talk about how to approach social media, what content you really should post, what content you should ignore. That goes even to what content are you really sharing amongst yourselves? How many times are you actually sharing something that we don't need it? We don't need it. We know that that person over there is wrong. We don't need to keep sharing it back and forth because every time it's doing a play, somebody's getting paid and not us. Just us over here pulling out our hair saying, oh, wow, that's bad. Well, we don't need to play it at all. One person might come along and they might say, okay, well, I'm going to do a rebuttal to it, or I'm going to say this and that about it. But no, we don't need to keep passing around things that we don't own, that don't feed us when we have product and we're starving. How to use social media, how to own your content and make these platforms pay you every time you decide you want to share a part of your life. You see, I had to wait a while before I could actually get in front of you all to talk because I had to figure out what can I say, what will I say, and when will I say it. You see, there's certain things I might say that could get everything shut down, not just me, but everything. And I'm not making a threat. What I'm saying is there's always another approach, another way to do things. And it's not necessarily anything that I might say. The next person might come along and say something, and people might get misdirected, or they might actually get intently directed and focused. It's one thing when you build alone, it's another when you get a group of people building together. We've seen what one man building alone can do. He wound up in a wooden room like this. There's a reason why I like being in this room. Because I come from Nuh. I come from Nah. I speak Noah. Love being in this room. All right. Wednesday, crypto and beyond. Someone gave me the idea for a live, and it was really their brainchild, crypto and beyond, because most people don't understand cryptocurrency and Web3. Awesome, Akati. I'm glad to hear from you, and I'm glad you're okay. Halalia, Supanawata Ila. I'm glad you're okay. So, for the people out there who don't really understand how cryptocurrency works or how to use the networks and the internet on a Web3 level, because it's different. In Web3, you don't have YouTube, but they have something similar to it. You don't have TikTok, you don't have Facebook. You have something similar. See, TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, Google, they're on Web 2. We're going to talk about exploring Web 3. Thursday, STOP. Now, I'm not telling you to stop anything that you got going on. What I'm telling you is it's time for you to stop, look, listen. And when you get ready to go, you're going to be focused on sustenance, textiles, occupation, and purpose. So on Wednesday, while we're talking about crypto and beyond, we'll be discussing as a crypto analyst. One, how you can actually start your own coin that is backed by something that's even worth more than the US dollar. My coin by itself is worth $1 because people have invested into it. That means that you have to spend about $1 to buy one of my coins. You can buy 10 cents worth, you can buy $5 worth if you want to. What I'm saying is, yes, I have a coin. You've heard of Bitcoin. You've heard of Ethereum. You've heard of Tron. You've heard of Dogecoin. There's a 3P Roach coin. All right. There's an SOC coin, by the way. Yeah. So on Thursday, when we do the stop program, that's basically talking about uh, occupations would be job placement. Except we're not doing job placement, we are doing work assignment. Where you would be best applicable in your work. Occupations. Sustenance. We need to grow food and we need to distribute that food. We need to have people lined up who actually do make clothing and distribute that. We have these things. However, we need to make sure that it's solid. We need to make sure that everybody can get that access. Remember, I told you a business contact site, I'm not playing with you, okay? Because I want you to understand something. In my own business, if I offer to you and I say, hey, I want to do a custom video for you, the same way if a person said they want to go and cut your yard, they're going to say, well, I'm going to charge you $50 to cut your yard. If you ask me what it would cost for me to make a video for you, I would say it costs $1 per second. And that's not, I work by the hour. No. That's, if you want a 1 minute video, it's going to cost you $60 because that's 60 seconds. That's how that works. And it's going to have all the information needed for the person to know what your service is, as well as how to contact you. And it's going to show all the things that would express you. See, that's what I do, right? Or, well, I don't know how to get out and do all this kind of stuff. I offer tutoring. How about $90 a month for 3 months? And while I'm doing all these things, I'm showing you how to do it too, day by day. I tell you all these things because no, that's not what I'm doing in my office right now. Actually, I took a break from even trying to push the issue for that because most people act like they don't have an interest in it. Now, lo and behold, I put my feet up back in January of the Roman calendar, and I'm watching my brother in the walk, and he's putting in applications. And he tells me, you know, instead of a resume, they want you to do a 1 minute video talking about who you are. And I said, well, ain't that a kicker? Because that's exactly what I do on a day-to-day basis. Think about it. So now, can you offer a service that is needed and it's positive for your service in the community? So you got sustenance, and then there's textiles, occupations. Not only do you need to occupy your time, you need to have an abode that you occupy. So not will we just be working on what's going on with work and finances, we're also going to be making sure there's residences. Because who wants to show up and work if they don't even have a place to lay their head down? And then purpose. You will find your purpose by doing your work through serving the community according to the standards of thy will be done, thy kingdom come. On Friday, there's a special group that I call Riley Barkley. There was a cartoon that came out, two young brothers. One of them has an afro, the other one has braids. Their mannerisms are a lot like my brother and I. That's the Riley part. He looks a lot like Charles Barkley. How about on Fridays we talk about being a digital nomad. You see, our Kohelet has been telling us the definition of nomad is also Arab. And I'm here to tell you that there were some Arabs that were and still are in Farsi Peninsula that don't look like the ones that you see at the local bodega. They look like me, you, your cousin, your uncle. And they did speak Farsi because Eber eventually blended over into Farsi land because Abraham had a son named Ishmael, and Ishmael and his mother went over that way. So you got the language of Eber mixing with that language over in that other land, and you had something that was produced called Arabic or Farsi, the Persian tongue. And in between them, there was a group from Kemet who kept their records in a tongue called Ge'ez. And if you put those three languages next to each other, you can decipher what's going on because they're similar. You blend them all together, and all of a sudden you got what's called Aramaic because they're all coming from that one source, which was the language of the forefathers of Eber. So yeah, we'll talk about being a digital nomad on Fridays, or at least that second Friday. And then of course Saturday would be Shabbat, and then Sunday we have another question and answer. I don't know if we're gonna do the whole 2 hours today, because I've been stalling out. I'm sure y'all can hear it in my nose. Plus, I'm trying my best to be polite, but yeah, I'm wiping at it. Blah 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 blah. Grab all talk you better than that. My communications teacher would be freaking out if it wasn't for the fact that I pretty much walked out of her class anyway. Walked out of her class. You ever have somebody stand in front of you and use the wrong kind of words? Just make up some words and try to be derogatory at the same time? Sitting in class, and this lady up there talking about, well, you know, if you're a nerdlet, then some people might not respect you. And me, I'm back there. I'm in my feelings now because I've heard some other derogatory terms, and this sounds real similar to those terms. She keeps saying nerdlet this and nerdlet that, and nerdlet, nerdlet, nerdlet. So finally, I stood up. I didn't even raise my hand. I stood up. Looks like we do have a decision because the battery over here on decided to. We have a decision. We have 20 minutes. Let's see how long we can last. So this lady said nerdlet one too many times. I stood up. I said, look here. I'm a poet. And many people would actually call me a nerd because I'm in my studies all the time. As a poet, I do have poetic license to make up a term. However, I would use it to describe something. And you're just trying to throw something out there and at the same time train us on how we're supposed to speak to people. What are you doing? As Akati Deborah would say, what are you doing? Lady, you don't get to go around using the word nerdlet. You see, I'm a nerd. And these other people in this classroom, see, I'm sitting in this room, there's some jocks up in here, a couple of people you might call thugs. But no, you don't get to use nerdlet because nobody's ever heard of that. And you don't get to talk down to us that way. Oh, she was in her feelings. You can get out. I sure can because I'm about to transfer to another school anyway. I just got tired of hearing you say that. You see, I wake up every day angry and ready to combat with ignorance. I don't care who does it. You get ignorant around me, I'm going to put some wrinkles in your brain. Because I hear that's really how you cure smooth brain syndrome. Throw some vital information at them. Feed them up like vitamins. Give them all the best elements. Apparently, they don't have the whole chemical chart up there, so let's feed them. Let's soften up that pineal gland, right? You see, I have an album called Crystallized Mind, and really that's what it's about. For those out there who have a calcified pineal gland, I've got an album that can take you through the steps of getting that brain wrinkled back up and that pineal gland soft again. Excuse me. I'll be back. All right. How do you all feel about home remedies? Don't quite have home remedies. We've got some citrus and some ginseng and some ginger and turmeric that was pre-bottled. Drank some of that earlier today. Spent most of the night eating ibuprofen, breaking a fever. So now it's just the after effects. Sinus draining, but it's starting to dry up. Every now and then it wants to drip uncontrollably, but I'm not gonna let it stop me. Meanwhile, so we've covered the schedule that we're gonna use. I want everybody to understand that we're gonna follow that, but that's gonna be after we do this series concerning origins. So that means that, let's see here, tomorrow we can jump into Mafia Soy Publications. Let you all know a few things about me when I first joined into the path, which would be like when I was 5. Once I got mature enough to actually stand on my own and say I'm on the path, I was 16. Actually able to stand in my own house and home and be the leader of prayer, 22, 23. We'll talk about all that stuff because that's around the time, 22, 23 is around the time that I met some of the most important brothers in my life because we have an over 20-year bond. There's only one other brother in this world that I've held more of a lengthy claim, and that would be my actual biological brother. So I'm gonna let you all know about Mafia Soy tomorrow. Inshallah, Adon willing. Because we don't know if we're gonna wake up breathing. As my granddaddy would say, you might wake up and find yourself dead. Or as Matt Trucker always reminds us, we're doing this. There were some people that was doing that yesterday that are not doing it today. On that note, I'd like to give thanks to our Creator for granting us another day, for granting us this time to spend with each other, for giving us a moment to have information and use it as well as store it. We want to thank our Creator because there could be any purpose in this world. However, we've all aligned under one common cause, right? And in that, the greatest thanks, because the common cause was already there. We're just saying that we're willing to line up. To everybody's family, close relatives, and everything. I ask that our Father's peace be upon all of you, security, sanctity, and prosperity. I mean, let's see if we can find a song to coast out on. It's been great doing these tests with these songs. Yesterday I did open up the live playing the For Yahweh album, and those songs did not get picked up. I think maybe one of them did. I'll have to check again. I don't know. But here's the ticket. If everybody goes back and keeps watching the shows, the song gets counted when a person is watching that section where the song is actually being played. If you'll notice, I post videos playing music in order for it to be heard on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube, because it's already been registered. I want you to hear the song so that you can go and look for it and find it. I want you to understand that you have a choice beyond what Beyonce is playing. You could have your own music registered. The sounds that you want to hear, the sounds of worship that you want to hear, what you play. And it's not pre-programmed from some big company. No, it's something that's coming from your spirit. What actually makes you jump up for joy and revel. Things that wouldn't be copyright restricted because you own it. So every time it plays, you're generating. Instead of watching somebody else's play and you're giving them, no, you are actually producing and they are consuming. So then they have to pay you. That's the whole reason I'm doing this. If I wanted to be a millionaire rapper, I could have gotten out at any time talking about some very, very off-color things and make $1 million and then go on about my business. None of that would be the will of Yahweh. And I can't do that because I was told we need our own public broadcasting station. You all help me and I can help you. You all tune in and get active with what I tell you about, and we can help each other. Much love, much respect to all of you, to your households, to your families, to your active circles. Much love. Yahweh. Let me see here. I'm gonna find something for us to listen to. I'm gonna find something. I bet y'all didn't know that Bone Thugs and Harmony did a caking song. Let's see, we're at the 54-minute mark. We are going out with this one. So we're gonna let it play. And then after it's over, closing the screens, y'all. Thank you for joining. Matt Bear, Shop Band, Brother Cole, Shalom Barak too. Oh. Yeah, see, y'all didn't know Bone Thugs and Harmony had a kicking song. We're back. Wake up. You there. Wake up. Hey, it's been a great ride. May you all have a great rest of your day. Look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, much love. Assalamu alaikum. May our Father's peace be with all who catch this message.